And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and providing you the timely truth centered around your real estate, credit, finance, insurance, home inspections, and so much more. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Our number one goals are to educate, entertain, enlighten, but most importantly, we want to engage with you in an effort to help you win.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Save our hotline number in your phone because at some point you're going to need it. 813-670-7372.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
813-670-7372. And we want you to bookmark our website, consumerqb.com, consumerqb.com. A plethora of information available for you at our website. You can see links to all of our expert contributors, the finest folks in all of Tampa Bay and the Gulf region that we've assembled, we've vetted, and we bring on the show to help you win. We don't care if you're climbing a corporate ladder or if you throw a ladder in your truck on the way to work. This show's for you. Intelligent Talk Radio. I've got some intelligent folks here in studio. Back in studio, Todd Hassie, local mortgage expert, the loan pilots, Team Hennessy. Welcome back.
Thank you, sir. Pleasure to be here.
Awesome. What are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about mortgage financing. Basically the dream of home ownership and some details on how to get there.
That's right. The American dream, how to get into the know, because what you don't know can hurt you.
That's right.
That's right. Also, Eunice Halstead making her debut on the Consumer Quarterback Show. She's our insurance expert, property casualty insurance specifically for today's show. Welcome on.
Hi, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. So there's a lot happening in the insurance space, too. What are we going to talk about today?
Well, in conjunction with the other guests here, I will be talking about homeowners insurance. Yeah,
homeowners insurance, such a key element coming into the inspection side of the real estate purchase, and it's going to dictate whether you're going to go FHA, VA, conventional loans. We'll dive deeper into that, the types of financing available for you as well. And then we got Jay Snoop rounding out our expert contributor panel. Jay Smith, A Snoop Inspection. Welcome in, sir.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg back in the house.
Yes, sir. He's back. He's back. He's badder than ever.
That's here. It. Keep it trucking.
Yeah, man. Yeah, those videos look good. We posted those videos on Facebook, talking about, that consumer advocate approach. We were taking a walk through on a property. I think that's some that people overlook a lot of times with new construction. Can you describe that, Dave, what we were doing?
Just looking over the process of the new construction, making sure that the contractor is dotting the I's and crossing the T's and making sure everything's done.
Yeah.
And especially was a property getting close to needing drywall, and you've got to make sure it's really ready because you're getting ready to cover it all up.
That's right. Yeah, that's a good point. Because then drywall goes up, you start painting, you start putting on wallpaper, whatever you're doing, and then that stuff is under there for years and years and years, and then you only find those problems out later when you go to actually use that electrical outlet or you name it.
Yeah, and it could be even that they cover something up and didn't prep things properly, then they have to tear it back out even during the construction. It just slows down the process.
Yeah, it slows down the process and costs the homeowner a lot more money, costs you more money if you're on the recipient end of that. So that's what we want to do. We want to talk about money here. We want to talk about things that matter and go against the often negative mainstream media, the ways that we can help you live a better life. And we've got a great story as well in our feel-good story. Billionaire opens new medical health clinic in Colorado to treat veterans and their families. And we also have the top 10 most waterproof towns in America coming up. We're going to talk about flood insurance. We're talking about rainy season coming into effect. We saw it here in Tampa this week. We had a lot of rain, much needed rain. The dry spell is over, so hopefully we'll get some rain here and help water those crops, water that grass, and keep Tampa beautiful, that is. A couple of hot listings here. I'm Brandon Rhymes. I'm the owner of Platinum MVP Realty, and I want to talk to you about some hot listings that we just listed with Platinum MVP Realty. I want to start you off in South Tampa here. This is in the Plant High School District. Highly sought sought after plant in Coleman District, 3911 West Euclid Avenue, just listed. Beautiful property, $842,000. Beautiful home. You got 10-foot ceilings throughout, and it's just a gorgeous kitchen. So many upgrades, too many upgrades to mention here, but the best school district in a lot of people's opinion here in the Tampa Bay market is the Plant High School District. Very highly sought after. Over 5,000 square feet here in South Tampa. Also got a beautiful property over in Largo. I want to take you over toward the beaches here now. This is 145th Street in Largo, 12091 145th Street in Largo. Beautiful property. This is a great home, very close to the beach. You drive across the causeway and you are on the beaches enjoying the beautiful Gulf Coast of Florida.
Sun is shining, the weather is sweet.
And we got a cool event coming up. I want to go ahead and let you know about this event. We're bringing Ken Shamrock back into town. We just purchased the tickets. He's going to be back in town on the 21st. June 21st is a Thursday. We're having a party. It's going to be a keynote by Ken Shamrock. He's a UFC Hall of Famer, world's most dangerous man, WWF fighter and champion as well, benefiting the Ian Beckles Foundation at Red Door number 5, a beautiful venue, fire station number 5 here in South Tampa. All the proceeds, portion of the proceeds will be benefiting the children in Tampa Bay, underprivileged children, and it's going to be a really cool venue. If you haven't seen this, the fire station number 5, cool venue. So check out our Facebook pages, engage with us. There's a lot of exciting things that you can do as a business owner to get involved. If you're in the real estate space, we want to recruit agents to our team. We want to help sellers, buyers, investors out there, and we're the consumer advocate here in Tampa Bay. 5 years on air now, helping you win in any marketplace. Let's jump right into it. We've got our mortgage expert here in studio, and we talk a lot about, with the market. We talk about how, first of all, how blessed are we to live in Tampa Bay, St. Pete, Clearwater, Bradenton, Sarasota. We got a great place that we're living in, and there's bad advice out there. There's a lot of bad advice. I talk to realtors every day. I wonder how they got licensed, some of them, but for the most part, we got a good thing going. We got good stuff happening. We're coming into a season now. We want to give this seasonally appropriate advice. So we're coming into the seasonally appropriate advice. So now this is the time of the year to start thinking about weatherproofing your home, to start thinking about hurricane season coming. There's property casualty risk that we'll talk about. So on the mortgage side, I just kind of want to open up to general, what are you seeing? What do you think is going to be affecting our consumers here in the next 60 to 90 days?
Well, season is you hit the nail on the head. We're basically walking into the season of purchasing. And what happens is by the end of the summer, the home values for the same square footage are increased by about 3% based on summer sales. So what you can see for let's just say 2,000 square feet right now today, you price that same scenario at the end of the summer, and you're going to see about a 3% increase in cost.
Right. So
now is the time. We're in a rate increasing environment, and it's the beginning of summer, so we're talking about a seller's market in regards to home sales driving home values higher by the end of summer.
Yeah, so you got two things working against you the longer you wait to purchase. You got the rising rate interest rate environment. You've got the rising price of that property and limited competition. Still, we're still battling this limited competition here in the Tampa Bay market. So it's tough to navigate that. I think some of the misconceptions I see on the real estate side are buyers don't want to commit to working with an agent.
No,
they don't want to commit. They call on the signs and then they're confused and I thought this one was available. It's not, and they're looking on these websites that are wrong.
And it's terrible because the realtor is there for the buyer's protection. It is teeing up the contract and making sure that buyer is protected and giving them the ins and outs of what are common practices of getting hurt versus being protected.
Yeah.
And the relationship with the buyer and the realtor is, I always talk to my buyers and ask them if they have that realtor so that I can actually make sure that they're connected with a good realtor to do this.
Yeah, that's right. We're talking with Team Hennessy, Todd Hassie, representing the Loan Pilots here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. I'm a top listing agent here in Tampa Bay. What we see happening, too, is they think that they're going to save commission by going directly to the seller, which in some cases, they might be able to negotiate something along the lines that may paint that picture, but ultimately, if it's a property that's older, it has repairs that need to be made, and we'll talk about that coming up with Jay Smith, A Snoop Inspection, Eunice, Halstead as well. But sometimes there's repairs that need to be made. That's all negotiated. Those are all negotiable items. So you talk about representation type. Single agency means that one agent is working with that one buyer, and that listing agent is working on behalf of the listing side client, the seller.
Right.
So there's a difference there between single agency and transaction broker. Mm-hmm. So it can help you, it can benefit you to have someone working with you.
Yeah, having that whole team established with the realtor and the mortgage banker, and understanding after the home inspection the laundry list of repair items that need to be renegotiated into that contract. So therefore, you're making an addendum to the purchase contract.
That's right.
To have those things resolved.
That's right.
I mean, that you can't say it any better than that for the importance of having that agent representing you.
Yeah. So, and a lot of times people just make that mistake. It's a situation where that happens. And then on the flip side, on the sale, on the for sale by owners, sometimes I talk to for sale by owners pretty much every day, and I'm talking to them about helping them profit more on the sale, listing their property with me, obviously. But then I talk to some that are even so close-minded that they say, because I'll flip the conversation. I'll say, okay, well, are you offering a buyer side commission to a buyer agent who would bring a buyer to you? And some of them say no. And it's like, wow. So just so you know, 9 out of 10 buyers start their search with a real estate agent. Yep. So that seller's alienating the that whole side of the market in essence.
Yes, they are. They're getting less than 50% of the potential traffic that they could on a potential sale.
Yeah.
For what? A couple of dollars?
Yeah, exactly.
Makes no sense. It's cutting a foot despite the rest of your body.
Yeah, your nose despite your face too. And, all these sayings we have, right? Isn't that funny? All right, so when we come back, I want to ask you a question too about some of these other companies, these different you hear out there. Oh, we'll pay your closing costs. We're going to cover you, no fees. We're going to handle all that. I want to dive into that and what does that actually mean and how is that structured? And I also want to talk about. We're going to talk with Eunice Halstead as well. We're going to talk about property casualty insurance, risk, policies. Coming into the storm season, we want to make sure you're covered here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. So stay with us. Also, top 10 cities with the most waterproof towns in America here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. Check out PlatinumMVPRealty.com. You can do an MLS search there at PlatinumMVPRealty.com. You can search the MLS. You can do a comparable market analysis, and we want to help you no matter what you're doing out there. 80 show categories here with the Consumer Quarterback Show. We've got CPAs, financial advisors, attorneys. There's lots of ways that we can help you, but it's up to you to engage. ConsumerQB.com. Submit an email form at ConsumerQB.com. So we got an all-star lineup in here today, and I want to talk to you about a hot listing that I've got before we jump back into this. Causeway, beautiful property here in Tampa. This is a commercial/residential opportunity. So if you're a home contractor, any type of a home-based business, this is a property at 5331 Causeway Boulevard in Tampa, over 1,200 square feet, just under an acre, a third of an acre, and it's a great opportunity to purchase here in Tampa Bay, especially if you're in that home-based business type set. It's a great property for you. PlatinumMVPRealty.com. All right, back in studio, we're talking with Todd Hassie here, the Loan Pilots. Coming up, we've got Eunice Halstead. She is the owner of Insurance Risk Specialist, and we also have the Snoop Dogg in the house, Jay Smith, A Snoop Inspection. So we're going to talk about things that go wrong in mortgages. And before we do, I kind of proposed a question there before the break. I think there's some misleading commercials out there, different messages that you see in the media, people promising to pay closing costs and those types of scenarios. What do you think about that type of?
Yeah, hearing that makes me crazy. I mean, the reality is nobody works for free. Mm-hmm. There's costs in the doc stamps, transfer taxes, and the establishment of a mortgage,
origination, yeah,
all of that. In those costs associated with a mortgage transaction, nobody's going to do that for you for free.
Right.
So, and what happens is that buyer is either paying for it through the rate chosen,
right,
or they are coming out of pocket for that. Because certainly that mortgage lender is not going to come out of pocket and work for free to do what's usually the largest investment of our life, that transaction. So in result, what they do is they'll take the interest rate for where the market is. They will increase that interest rate, offer that interest rate to that borrower, and use the yield spread, which is what is credit on the back of the interest rate chosen, to pay for their closing costs. So ultimately, the buyer is still paying for all those closing costs. However, it was just masked by "we'll pay your closing costs."
Yeah, and they're paying a much higher rate over the term of 360 months in a lot of cases, which adds up to hundreds of thousands of dollars. Versus, paying that lower rate that the market actually offered and that they could have qualified for.
Yes.
Yeah. So be savvy when you're out there, when you're shopping mortgages, you're shopping real estate. We want you to be savvy and work with local experts here. Todd Hassie, he represents the team Hennessy here, the Loan Pilots, longtime friend of the program, and they're going to help you with that. They're going to help you walk through that situation. They'll make house calls. They'll come out and sit down with you at your home or office, or you can come into their office as well. So thanks a lot, Todd. We appreciate that. More from Todd coming up in the show. I want to bring in Eunice Halstead now and talk about insurance risk, because that's a big part of this transaction, as we'll hear from Jay later in the show as well. One of the biggest parts of getting into a home is making sure you have the right insurance policy.
Absolutely. And we got to make sure coming into hurricane season now on June 1st that we're properly covered for our homes and for our businesses. And we got to make sure that our policies include wind coverage. Many policies sold out there do not include wind coverage because it's such a huge portion of the premium. If you look at the breakdown of the premium here in Florida, I would say that at least 50% or more of the premium comes from wind coverage.
Wow.
And homeowners policies do not include flood coverage. And a lot of people don't know that. And then they find themselves after a storm with the situation of most of their damage came from a flood, and they have no coverage because they assume that their homeowners would cover it. So that is something that's very important that everybody needs to keep in mind.
Yeah, it's very important. When you think about that, it's kind of a shell game in some cases. You have the insurance companies on one hand saying, well, it was caused by wind, or no, it was caused by rising waters. Either way, as a homeowner, you need to understand what's in your policy. And I think a lot of misconceptions around the area of premiums and cost. They look at the premium, they shop the rate, and they say, oh, I want the lowest rate, but what's going to happen to the coverages?
Right. And many times when they're buying this insurance online, you don't really have anybody to explain to you what you're actually buying.
Right.
And people just, like you said, go with the lowest cost. When
Yep.
you're working with an insurance agent, they will go through the policy with you and give you all the information that you need and explain to you coverage by coverage what it is that you have, and that if you have the proper valuation for your home, that's another very important thing. Many times, as when you buy, when you first purchase a home and you buy through a mortgage, your bank is going to require you to carry insurance for the full mortgage amount. But as you pay that mortgage off, your home may not necessarily be worth the amount that you paid for it. So we make sure that you have a proper valuation of that home and you're properly insured. And in the case of property inspectors, they are extremely important because the property inspector will go and look at your property right after you get a policy. And I had a client that had a very bad experience with a property inspector went in and looked at her home just because the paint was chipping off of her home. They raised her premium substantially.
Wow.
So there are a number of things that they look at when they evaluate your home after you have your policy, and the insurance company has the right to adjust that rate on your home.
Yeah, it's a challenge, and it's something where we talk about getting a review. I mean, how important is it to get an annual review and see what you actually have in your policy?
Absolutely important, because things may change, situations may change, you may do additions to your home, a storm may have happened and you may have had damage. There's a number of different things that change throughout the year, and your needs may be different. So you may need different coverages or additional coverages, or you may be paying for something that you no longer have. So it's important to every year come to your agent and review your coverage.
Yeah. So if you just joined us, Eunice Halstead on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. Now, when it comes to the insurance side, it's a challenge, I think, because people it's another industry where there's so many of these TV commercials that are somewhat misleading, and if they got the big names, they're running these commercials. It's people want to call, and they're like a captive audience, and it's not necessarily going to be the best rate, payment, or coverages. Whereas someone comes to you, Eunice, you're able to shop their unique, specific criteria, almost like a broker would. Is that right?
Absolutely. And like you mentioned, with regards to commercials, there's some of these companies that have these commercials that advertise like the accident protection, or the loss protection, that if you have a loss, they won't increase your premium. What the consumer doesn't understand is that they're actually paying a premium on their policy to have that extra coverage. And basically you're paying for the loss that you haven't had,
right,
in case you have it,
right,
so that they will forgive you and not increase your premium if you do have a loss.
And so when you're looking through your policy, these are separate riders a lot of times, right? It's a different rider. So you'll have a sinkhole rider if you're in an area prone to sinkholes.
That's correct.
So can you talk us through that? Like, what do we need to look for in that scenario? Different types of riders.
Well, that's a good thing to discuss with your agent. I mean, insurance policies are very cumbersome to go through.
Right.
And other than a lawyer, the best person to talk to you about it would be an agent or somebody who's been in the insurance industry for a long time. I've been in the insurance industry since 1987. So I've read all my policies, and I know quite a bit about this. So I can direct you in the correct way with regards to what you're paying or what coverage you're getting. Yeah,
absolutely. It's super important to do that, and conveniently located. We actually work out of the same office.
Yeah.
We're over there with Michael Lysenko at 8325 West Hillsborough Avenue. So if you ever want to sit down with Eunice, get your policy reviewed, of course, the real estate company, we're there as well. We've got a nice office over there off of Hillsborough.
Yes, my phone number is 813-852-5691.
Yeah. So what's the website? Let's give the website too. It might be easier for
It's
people to remember.
www.insuranceriskspecialist.com.
InsuranceRiskSpecialist.com, of course, and all the contact information is on our website at consumerqb.com. So yeah, Eunice, when we look at, and that's the goal of this show, is we want to help consumers. We want to bring things that they might not be thinking about to the forefront of their minds and help them, because it's a busy world. People are busier than ever. There's so many distractions these days happening, and here we are. We're going into the rainy season. We're coming into, automobile accidents. We're coming into potential roof leaks as well. So there's a lot of things that people can do to be smart and check their policy before they actually need it. So when we come back, I want to bring in Jay Smith, A Snoop Inspection. We're going to dive into that. I want to talk about how the 4-point inspection will play with the insurance policy and what you need to see on that, the expected roof, life expectancy of the roofs, the ACs, those types of scenarios. And also more from Todd Hassie coming up, the loan pilots in our lightning round. And we have a great feel-good story of the week, man. This is a great story. This billionaire is opening up mental health clinics in Colorado to treat veterans and their families. And this gentleman's investing a lot of money. Find out about this story from a positive perspective in our Feel Something Good, Tell Me Something Good segment here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, stay with us. We'll be right back after a short break. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Brandon Rhymes 1, Facebook, Instagram, and we'll see you after this short break.
Thanks for listening to My Daddy's Show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hi, my name is Joe Stalteri. I'm one of the owners of Complete Care Systems. At Complete Care Systems, we do carpet cleaning, upholstery cleaning, tile and grout cleaning, tile and grout sealing, wood floor and laminate floor deep cleaning, as well as stripping and waxing of linoleum and vinyl floors, and a whole lot more. We also run daily deals and special, which you can find at CompleteCareSystems.com, or simply call Trisha up at 727-364-5158, and she'll answer all your questions and give you over the phone free estimates. Or she'll send me out to your home or office to give you an on-site free estimate. At Complete Care Systems, we don't cut corners, we clean them.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. That's what we do. We're going to help you win. Owner of Platinum MVP Realty and a top listing agent in Tampa Bay. I want to let you know about some hot listings that we have. I've got a beautiful property in Tampa just outside of West Chase, 9825 Wilski Boulevard. This is a super, urban style, exquisite, modern home. Very private as well. It's got vacant land on each side, and it's on a lake. Beautiful lake, over 5,500 square feet, and this property is listed at $1.5 million. Compliments of Platinum MVP Realty. Check it out just outside of West Chase. We'd love for you to schedule it. Looking for $1 million players out there. Also got one down in South St. Petersburg, Northeast St. Petersburg. It is 215 12th Avenue Northeast in St. Pete. $1.4 million listing for Platinum MVP Realty, and we're looking for $1 million buyers out there. We want to sell this to you. This is a beautiful property that's pre-construction, SIPS panel construction. So maybe we'll have Jay Smith comment on that. SIPS panel construction, unique, different style of construction. It's not the plywood and 2x4s as much as it is these SIPS panels. I will explain that later in the show. 3,752 square feet, $1.4 million. 215 12th Avenue Northeast, St. Petersburg. Beautiful place to live, work, and play.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
And we want to give a shout out to Brio Tuscan Grill at the International Plaza. Brio Tuscan Grill is our official restaurant partner, and they have a special offer right now for our listeners. Anyone that mentions the Real Estate Quarterback Show, and they're going to get hooked up with a free appetizer. All you have to do is mention the Consumer Quarterback Show when you go in. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you, and you're going to get that free appetizer. You've got tomato and mozzarella caprese. You've got the spicy shrimp and eggplant, beef carpaccio, calamari, all types of great small pizzas. Excellent food over there. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you at Brio Tuscan Grill at the International Plaza, and they're going to hook you up with that free appetizer. Also want to give a shout out to the maids. Mary Maids, relax, it's done. Satisfaction is guaranteed by Mary Maids. They are our official cleaning partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show, and they do a great job cleaning our real estate properties. We'd love for you to have them clean yours, and reach out to Mary Maids. Relax, it's done. All right, back here in studio, we got Team Hennessy in the house. Todd Hassie representing the Lone Pilots. We got the Snoop Dogg, A. Smith, Snoop Inspection, Jay Smith. We'll get it. Eunice Halstead, Insurance Risk Specialist as well. So let's see. Before the break, we were talking about, I wanted to discuss how this plays out. So let's bring Jay in, the Snoop Dogg, that is, and we're going to talk about how those 4 points come into play. So here you are, you're a buyer, you're buying a real estate property. Maybe it's your first or second home, and your realtor or someone says, hey, you got to go out and get one of these 4-point inspections done so you qualify for your mortgage. What is that all about, Jay?
Well, typically a 4 point's done on a house that's 30 years or older. And really what we're looking for is make sure that there hasn't been a bunch of modifications that maybe aren't up to standard. Because when the house is built, it's built to a certain standard. Now, through the years, nothing against, the do-it-yourselfer, but sometimes things are modified or changed through the years and not quite done to the standard they should be.
To code?
Yep, to code. That's what it comes down to. And, of course, the codes are changing through the years, too. And insurance companies would like to see you update some of it. For instance, 40 years ago, we didn't have the safety outlets in the kitchens and baths.
Yeah.
Now we do.
GFI.
But there's still plenty of old homes that don't have them even today. And it's an easy upgrade. It's something it's really simple to do and not that expensive to do, but it's something safety-wise that should be done. Even smoke alarms. Mm-hmm. Years ago, a house would have one smoke alarm in it. Nowadays, they're inside the bedrooms, outside the bedrooms. There'll be 3, 4, 5, 6 smoke alarms in a house compared to today than when it was built in 1980.
What about carbon monoxide detectors?
Not as much of an issue here in Florida. A lot of times when you have when you have gas appliances, you might get into those a little bit more, but we run so much on electric down here, it doesn't become as big an issue.
So that's more if you're burning propane to fuel your cooking
stoves, even your heating and air, any number of things.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. So the 4-point comes in. Older home, you find a couple of things here and there. You've done some properties for me, and we said, hey, will this pass an FHA inspection? And sometimes you say, no way, it won't. Yeah. So I think even, as a longtime realtor, it's like, it still gets confusing sometimes to, what's required for an FHA loan, what's not required for an FHA loan. Can you speak to that?
Well, I mean, FHA and VA both have their own standards that they want to see in a home before they'll go ahead and write the mortgage for it. So beyond the insurance, that even goes above the 4-point. For instance, on a 4-point, there really isn't a big deal about if there's some rot in a door. But if it was a VA or FHA loan, they could be upset about that needs to be fixed before the house could go to closing.
So just some dry rot.
Yep, dry rot, because you never want to promote the possibility of termites. And, of course, if you've got damaged wood, moisture, the whole 9 yards, you're always having a better possibility of having the termites in the house.
Right. Okay. And if you just joined us, Jay Smith, we're talking with Jay Smith, A Snoop Inspection on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. We also have Eunice Halstead in the house, insurance risk specialist, Todd Hassie, the loan pilots. So another big key factor when it comes to minimizing your insurance cost would be a wind mitigation. Let's talk about that.
And that's where the wind mitigation comes in. If you've got a roof that's been put on in the last few years, that's right there is a discount on your insurance. Can't tell you what that discount will be. That's all up to the individual insurance companies, but we can, notate that it's permitted. And that's the other thing. Please permit the roof. Don't have your friends come over and help you on a weekend and knock out a roof. Permit that roof and make sure it's done to the current standards, because that's something else that has changed through the years. I mean, back in the 90s, they would put 4 nails per shingle all the time. Now it's 6. That changed. And if you're not keeping up with those things, that's the stuff that isn't done.
So let's bring Eunice into that conversation then. So the question would be then on a wind mitigation, what are some of the maybe success stories, or what's a typical savings that a homeowner could see if they do get a wind mitigation done to save them money on their homeowners?
Like Jay mentioned, it really depends on the insurance company, what kind of discount they can get. But definitely it is a substantial discount if you have that wind mitigation report and it shows that your roof is newer and up to code and it's in good shape. When it shows that it's not up to code, or it's an older roof and it needs or it's in disrepair, then you lose that discount, and in many cases they won't insure you.
Right. Yeah. So it's an important part of the process, especially for these older homes. That's why a lot of times when I go to list a property, I'll tell the seller, especially if it's older than, 8 or 10, 12 years, that, hey, it might be time to get an inspection done. We'll get Jay involved up front to get that inspection completed. So then we know a better picture of, all the pieces come together. What type of financing? What's the insurance going to look like? That's a scenario that plays out a lot of times. We see that.
And a lot of new homes have much better roofing material, but some of the older homes, the expected lifespan of it is 15 years.
Right.
So if they see a home with a roof that has not been replaced in the last 15 years, they're really going to look at it carefully.
Yeah, that's a challenge. So another question would be, when it comes to life expectancy on the roof, what's that magic number? What do you end up seeing?
Depends on the roof.
Yeah, does it? Okay.
It does. I mean, your old style 3-tab shingles will only last 15, 16, 17 years. They're typically not used hardly at all any longer. It's very rare I see new 3-tabs. Most of it's what's called an architectural or dimensional shingle, and that's normally a 30-year shingle they're putting on the roof. And they'll last 20, 22 years, but it's not a 30-year roof. That's what people have to know moving from up north. When you move down from Connecticut and you put a 30-year roof on your house, it typically is going to last right around 30 years. Down here, you're going to knock the life down. The heat just really wears on them, and they're not going to last as long.
Yeah.
Of course, you get into tile roofs and metal roofs, and that's a whole different ballgame. A tile roof is going to last 25 to 40 years, and a metal roof could last 40, 50 years.
Yeah, it's interesting. So great point pointing that out. I guess my question is more specifically to when you do an inspection and it says, oh, well, this roof is only going to last 3 years to 5 years or 5 to 7 years. Maybe that's a question more for Eunice on the insurance side. Is that what's the expected life of a roof that the insurance company's looking for, in other words?
Probably the 15 years or more.
Yeah.
They're not looking for a roof that's going to have to be replaced in 3 years, because if we do get hit with a storm, that roof has much better chance of just blowing off.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've seen that happen though on some of our real estate listings, some closings. Then what does it happen? Does it get into more of a non-conforming type of a scenario where you have to shop different insurance companies just so that buyer can get in, maybe pay a higher premium?
That's correct.
Yeah.
All of this comes down to the lending too, because
Right.
as a lender, depending upon the program chosen, has certain specifications for life expectancy of the roof. For
Right.
example, FHA/VA, we want to see that there's 3 years life remaining in the roof or more.
Okay.
But then when you get to a roof that is last pulled permit showing that the last pulled permit's over 15 years old, we know no matter whether their neighbors have replaced the roof or not, helping them out on a weekend. We know that that's only that's a 15-year roof that's basically on there, and now we're looking at getting higher insurance cost quotes to meet their need for payment.
Right.
So there's only now you're diminishing the scope of insurance policies that you can get when a roof has over 15 years life.
And it could also hurt the debt ratio if the insurance goes up. Then your debt ratio is thrown off, and then you get into the situation where you're asking to get out of the contract because you can't afford the house.
Exactly.
So it's all of these pieces. It's all these inner workings of insurance with inspections, with the mortgage side, with the real estate. There's a lot of ways that we can help you here in the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're going to talk more with our expert contributors coming up in our lightning round, and we're going to inject some positivity in your life with our feel-good story of the week. A billionaire opens up a new mental health clinic in Colorado to treat veterans and their families. Stay with us here, the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372.
With my man.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
Listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of Platinum MVP Realty. And we've got multiple locations now serving all of Tampa Bay. We've got new offices in South Tampa, got a West Shore office, downtown office on Ashley, and we're really excited about the growth of our show, the brokerage, a lot of things happening around the Consumer Quarterback Show. We got our event coming up on the 21st of June, and check that out on Eventbrite. You can see the invite there, the page on Eventbrite as well. Just search up Ken Shamrock. He's going to be the keynote speaker. The benefits are going to go to the Ian Beckles Foundation. It's a great venue as well. It's Fire Station number 5, Red Door number 5. Going to be an awesome event. Check it out. Tickets are $20. You get the $15 early bird discount right now. And all of our partners are complimentary as well. Compliments of the Consumer Quarterback Show for our partners. And we've got an all-star lineup here in studio today. We've got Team Hennessy being represented by Todd Hassie, the Lone Pilots. We've got the Snoop Dogg in the house, Jay Smith, and Eunice Halstead as well, insurance risk specialist and our insurance property casualty insurance partner on the Consumer Quarterback Show. So I got an article in front of me. Interesting article. It says how to prep your house for rain. The rainy season is great for lawns and gardens, but it can also be a homeowner's worst nightmare. So he's talking about different areas of the house. So we'll talk about this. Let's see, roof, gutters, indoor leaks. It goes through to talk about different aspects of the home, including doors and windows, clear perimeter, outdoor storage, deck as well. So some of these areas are areas that you want to look at this time of year. So kind of open it up to discussion. The roof, the roof is the first line of defense against heavy rains. You should inspect before the peak season. We kind of talked about the roof already today. And the thing that Jay Smith's going to do as a home inspector, he's going to get up in the attic. He's going to get to those crawl spaces where a lot of homeowners don't want to get to or they don't take the time to get to. So gutters, let's talk about gutters, Jay.
Keeping them clean.
Just clean them out?
Yeah, keeping them clean and the proper size. The old style was all 5-inch gutters from the 70s and 80s, and we've moved on to 6-inch gutters, larger downspouts to get the water away from the house faster.
Good point. My mom's old house, it was a beautiful 5,500 square foot house on the Caloosahatchee River in LaBelle. Beautiful. I hated when we sold it, but it had one of these roofs where it came to a V or like a point, so you had all these edges just dropping in one spot close to the foundation, and it would actually come through when it rained real hard. It would come back through the concrete, in that area,
and it can cause settlement and all those things in that spot.
Yeah, so we ended up, extending the downspout, going and buying some of those things you put in the ground. I forgot what it's called. Basically, it's just a big old container that holds water, and it kind of absorbs the water. But that's a big one. So gutters, downspouts. What about indoor leaks? It says don't forget to check the inside of your home for signs of leaks. Inspect the wall, ceilings. Look for discoloration, mold, or water rings.
Are they talking about rain? We're still sticking with rain.
Yeah, how to prep your house from rain.
Well, there's some things, for instance, ridge vents all the time. And a lot of same thing. We've changed this through the years. They used to nail them on, and the winds would loosen them up. Expansion and contraction, the nail starts to work its way out, and then the wind starts catching that ridge vent and pulls it up. And that's at the very peak of your roof. Well, nowadays we screw them down, and the screws hold a lot stronger, and now that thing's not going to move around and cause a leak in that area.
Yeah, and you use a rubber.
Most of the time, they're using a rubber grommet with those screws,
right?
And then checking any kind of penetration through your roof, whether it's the plumbing penetrations, bathroom vents, dryer ducts, all those things that they may have actually some type of hood vent or something like that through it. My father had a recent leak in his, and it was the bathroom vent going through the roof.
Right,
just that vent was wearing out. And it wasn't the whole roof; just had to fix that one spot.
Yeah, here's another area, doors and windows. It says while you're inside, it's also a good idea to check all the exterior doors and windows for proper seals. And that's where you could lose a lot of your money, your air conditioning costs going right out through the little 1/4-inch holes in your bottom of your doors.
Well, unfortunately, we have terrible windows in Florida, so
really?
we could do a whole show about terrible windows
just in general.
Are in a lot of houses.
Wow. All right, check perimeter, of course, clearing broken limbs. Time to trim those trees this time of year, too, before they fall on your house. Outdoor storage, decking, it says as well. And hurricane socks. You know what a hurricane sock is, according to this article?
What is it?
I have no idea.
Hurricane socks, which are basically sandless bags that are great for temporary fix for leaky garages and basements. So I guess they want you to keep some of these bags around the house. Whenever it's time, go fill them up so you don't have to do that, I guess, last minute. These socks absorb up to a gallon of water and can be dried out in clothes dryers. Well, maybe not. It's not a sandbag.
I think they're actually talking about
sandless
socks
sandbag.
with sand in them.
Yeah, it's a sandless sandbag, it says, yeah.
Oh.
It'll expand, yeah. So cool.
And one thing to keep an eye on in Florida too is just your grade of your home. I mean, we're so flat in most of the areas,
right,
that as you're doing your landscaping, you actually want to make sure that you're guiding the water around your house instead of impeding it in some way.
Yeah.
Whether it's your fence is real low to the ground. There's a lot of different things that we look at as home inspectors around your house and how the water is going to drain.
Yeah, sloping it off, making sure it slopes away from the house, back to the ditch, doing it properly that way. All right, let's jump into our lightning round.
The lightning round!
I am so good at lightning rounds!
I majored in lightning rounds.
All right, so we can either do top tips, nuggets of advice, or you could give us basically an elevator pitch of how you help people, how you help consumers.
This is Todd. I represent Team Hennessy and the Lone Pilots. And the biggest tip I can tell anybody is the dream of homeownership is right at your fingertips.
Yeah.
Just giving us a call and letting us run some numbers for you and answering any of the questions related to home ownership would be, the best and easiest way to start.
That's right. ConsumerQB.com. All the contact information available at ConsumerQB.com, or you can call our hotline 813-670-7372, 670-7372, and of course it's 670-REQB. All right, we got Eunice Halstead here. So top tips, nuggets of advice, parting words of wisdom.
This is Eunice with Insurance Risk Specialist. Just have an agent or have someone that knows what they're doing, and review your insurance program to make sure that you have your proper coverage and you have everything you need, so that at the time of the loss, you don't get stuck with a problem and a big debt to repair your property.
Yeah, why don't we do this as well? If you're out there driving or maybe listening or watching our TV show on WeBeam TV, why don't you send us a quick text message? Text the word review to our hotline 813-670-7372. Just text us the word review and let us know that you want to get an insurance review. Maybe give us your email address there, and we'll get you hooked up with Eunice. That way you can get a review, sit down with her, either come into the office or maybe she can make a house call. But we want to make sure that you get that review done because it's so important this time of year. You don't want to be freaking out when hurricane season's coming and you got another hurricane coming in the box. If you're prepared, if you have everything up front and you feel better about it, you're going to sleep better at night.
We have a team of over 60 years of experience in the insurance industry, and reviews are free.
Yes, awesome. So text review to 813-670-7372. Text review now. Jay Smith, a Snoop inspection.
Prepare. I mean, we're coming up on the season, and not necessarily, it's all about the selling season, but hurricane season. We all know that's coming up real quick. And of course, the rainy season coming along here in Florida, that it's going to be wet and nasty part of the summer. The things that we were talking about on the roof, check your vents, check how good a shape your roof is in. One thing we may look up when we're pulling into the driveway, but a lot of houses in Florida have those flat roofs out back. And you know what? Those flat roofs do not last as long as your main roof. Check that out. It may be time for that to leak, that you got to get it done.
That's right.
That's some of the biggest things. Get your trees trimmed back. Let's all be prepared and make it an easy season for everybody.
That's right. And hopefully it's a light one. All right, let's inject some positivity into your life today.
Tell me something good.
All right, so a billionaire opens a new mental health clinic in Colorado to treat veterans and their families. A new medical health clinic for veterans funded by one of the nation's wealthiest men will open in Colorado on Monday. The Cohen's Veteran Network is the charitable project of Stephen A. Cohen, a former hedge fund titan with an estimated net worth of $11 billion. In 2016, Cohen pledged $275 million to build a network of veteran clinics across the country. So far, he's opened 12 clinics in military towns or major cities, including a new location in Denver. And here's a quote. Every day, many veterans and their families are living with the mental and physical scars from serving this country during military service. The Cohen Veteran Network, a not-for-profit philanthropic organization, has created to serve them by providing high-quality, accessible, and integrated mental health care. These clinics serve all post 9/11 veterans, regardless of whether they were honorably or dishonorably charged. The clinics also provide services to veteran families, members, or other people, such as girlfriends or boyfriends, whom the veterans identify as caregivers. Services are provided free of charge to people without insurance, and those with insurance can access care for only the cost of a copay, usually just a few $100s. Awesome stuff. Good stuff, man.
That is fantastic.
Putting those billions to work. That's great that they give back like that.
That strikes a chord for me because my father was a Vietnam veteran.
Wow.
Pretty much lost him to that war.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's our veterans, they gave the sacrifice of their life. And if it's not they die, if it's not the fact that they died, maybe it's mentally, their mind is gone. Yep. There's so many ways that our veterans should be thanked every day. And that's our random act of kindness for today is go out and find a veteran, find someone that served our country, buy them coffee, buy them lunch, and be a force for good out there. You could even pack up some leftover food or clothing, carry it with you to and from your commute, hand it to that person that you see in need. There's a lot of ways to get involved nowadays. There's so many good organizations here in Tampa Bay. The Children's Cancer Center, get involved with them. We've done some stuff with them in the past. They're a great organization. You've got so many great organizations. The Habitat for Humanity, we've done stuff with Warwick Dunn and his team with them. They're just volunteer. If you don't have extra money floating around, volunteer some hours. Take 10% of your time. You hear take 10% of your money, give it away. And you want to take 10% of your time and, give it away as well. It's money and time. So we'll see you next time here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Thanks for tuning in. And check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Brandon Rhymes1 on Twitter. And we'll see you next time. Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show, weekday afternoons at 5 on AM 1380. The Biz.
Are you a real estate agent looking to take your business to the next level and supercharge your marketing? Hi, I'm Brandon Rhymes, owner of Platinum MVP Realty and host of the Real Estate Quarterback Show, syndicated radio and TV show talk program on iHeartRadio, 102.5 The Bone, daily 5 o'clock drive time on 1380 The Biz, and our TV show is on WeBeam TV. We're looking for real estate agents that want to join our team and supercharge their marketing utilizing some of our innovative strategies. We utilize the Real Geeks platform, Facebook marketing, internet marketing, and a lot of the traditional methods as well. Postcard mailers mailed for you, postage, signage, business cards, all paid for by the company. Aggressive real estate splits and ways to help you win in any marketplace. We need you to go out, take applications, and work our plethora of leads that we're generating on a daily basis. Reach out by clicking the form below, and we'd love to have a confidential interview with you.